Greetings, Dungeon Delvers, and welcome to yet another exciting chapter of A Tale of D20s, Descent into the Void, where six friends join together to tell a story of mythic proportion. Gather round. Let me tell you a tale of life and death, of joy and sorrow, a tale of D20s! Last time, Liberators, you teleported yourselves to the great temple of Nyx, found out the daimyo is in a state of life and death, and joined his adoptive son Kai in defending the leadership of the demon dancers from the nefarious Hiei, Daimyo Kaijin's older brother. To power yourselves up and unlock your budding vagaries, you decided to join Kai on a journey up Kuro Mountain, a dangerous black obsidian mountain that would put you all through the trial of your lives. Syl was discovered to have left the group called upon by his master in Galeem, but with no time to waste, you decide to gear up and go to the trial to prepare for the Northril, the battle that would pit Kai and the Liberators against Hiei and his forces. Making your way up to Kuro Mountain, you were separated and attacked by dark shadows of your past and fears, your inner demons. Most of you tapped into the powers within, beginning to unlock your vagaries and using them to defeat the shadows. Now together once again, the howling winds have died down. Though the cold is ever so real, your reflections can be seen cast off the black gem-like mountainside. You find shelter under a sturdy platform of rock and stone, resting for a bit before you continue the long journey up the crystal structure. What are you doing during your rest?
Are we not going to talk about the battle that we had as well, too? Like the mini scuffle?
Where are we actually taking our rest at? As I recall, were we still marching in the snow?
So at this point, Kai had brought you over toward a kind of overpass where the crystal-like black structure leaves it's hanging over, and you can duck in there in a small little cave. It doesn't really go in, but at least it gives you some shelter from the elements. And he leads you over there and begins to take out some things from his bag to make a little meal.
Kai, that was quite scary. I don't know. Do you think that we'll be okay? This seems quite hard journey, and it is not to say that I'm not prepared for it or willing to continue, but it is already so hard, and we just begun.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough fight. Like I said before, this is no joke. The Kuro Mountain, it's only been climbed by only the greatest of, demon dancers, including my father and Hiei, and my grandfather, and so on and so forth. They've grown to be great leaders. If you want to turn around, I would understand.
No. We have to do this. It is bigger than just us. We have to save this, and then I will gesture around, not just to the mountain, but to the land beneath us. We have to save this entire place. It is going to get worse and potentially spread to Thelos. We have more than just Shivrin to think of.
And this mountain itself seems like a reflection of our own fears. It is something we must overcome, for ourselves as well.
Well, as long as you all are committed and prepared for the trials up ahead, I think it'll only get worse.
I think so. We fared pretty well. There was a little slip-ups here and there, but I think if we steel our mind, we'll be able to press on. And then I'll give everyone a nod firm, head nod. Kai, how long do you think we should rest here? Are we safe here for the evening, or should we try and find a more covered place to bed down?
It's kind of early. I just need a little bit of rest, about an hour, and then continue heading up. We don't have a lot of time left before the Northril.
Oh, you're right, yes. I'm forgetting myself. This snow and everything that blots out the sun, it makes it so hard to tell what time of day it is, and although my muscles are aching, I understand we must press on if we are to make it to the top and complete our journey.
Who was that I saw you fighting, King?
I will look down and a little sad, and I will say that was a nightmare who was representing a close friend and companion of mine. She was a warforged named Scarlet, and she was also my first disciple.
What happened to her?
Well, it's It's a long story, but I'm like, I look down and sad as I'm saying this and taking pauses.
And then Horatio butts in. She went on to spread the word of Myliki for King in other areas. As I look at King,
Oh, so you didn't lose a disciple. She's going on, spreading the word.
Hopefully, yeah. That's the hope. I have to be honest, that's not exactly everything, and then I'll give Horatio a look like thank you, but I have to be honest. She is guarding the first miracle when we traveled through the mountain pass and encountered Enceladus.
You mean the one that Genji was investigating?
Yes. Once we found that demon, I was able, with the help of her and others, to grow a heaven's root. The tree, the one that everyone has begun talking about. And once we realized the severity of the situation, Genju told us that a scar was going to open, and I prepared her and helped her sort of hollow the land and hopefully cleanse and protect it. And she decided to stay back and be the guardian of this space. So
One thing you do know, King, is that she's probably not there right now, as she was only there to guard it while the demon dancers completed their closing ritual, which probably would have been done days ago.
So I'll say she was there guarding it, waiting for the dancers, and then after they've arrived, she should have hopefully moved on to the next space or gone on to the next journey. We might encounter her in the future. Goddess knows, but
I'm sorry you had to see her like that again. It sounds like it was painful.
it was just a mind game, though. And I'll look up and sort of brush a tear away. It was just fake, though. It was just fake. I'm fine.
It seemed to be more than that.
it is a trick by the demon Enceladus.
No, I think that these missions we see on this mountain, they reflect something inside of us that we must conquer.
I agree, it's something we haven't let go, and something we need to move beyond in order to unlock our vagaries.
Say that again? Move on?
Not completely forget about, but overcome the fear of any negative outcome.
Kai, you were attacked by... Who was that detective? Was that Hiei?
He turns to you and says, yeah, I thought it was him for real, but it was just a shadow of Manako and I in my fear, because
You
him
seem
taking over.
just like him.
It did. But we took him on, and when we beat it, Manako, you're so strong. I don't think I'd be able to do it without you.
Everything I do, is a gift. I don't think I could have done it without help. But thank you. Seeing Hiei again, it was difficult. She looks up at King. I know it was just a trial of some sorts, but I understand that it was painful for you. It was painful for me. She looks over at Duran. Who did you see?
Duran, for a moment, the pain expression, but looks up determined. I saw a pale imitation of someone once very close to me, of one of my brothers, the one closest to me, Zilgus. It was as if in my heart I had been holding on to the pain of his death, that it was me who took his life. And coming on this journey, part of it is confronting that. I do not think it will be easy for us to overcome these challenges. If it were only just a fight.
It isn't, though. It is much more than that. But the one thing that I think is important for us all to remember, myself including, is even though some of these trials may be solo and we're on our own to defeat our enemies, remember, not all battles are, and your friends and your allies are there to help you in your most desperate times. Call on those you trust, and they will come.
Kai, do you need a hand with that? And Manako will run over and start helping prepare the meal.
Oh, thanks, Manako. Yeah, just wanted to get my strength back up. After using my vagary like that, it can be pretty taxing, especially using two at once.
It was incredible seeing you do that. I've only heard.
If I may ask, Kai, if you've already unlocked 2 vagaries, what else do you look to gain by doing this?
Well, Kuro Mountain isn't only for unlocking your vagaries, it's for bringing it to the next level. My father did so, and he was able to attain great power, great control over the winds itself. I pale in comparison, so I'm hoping to start my own style. I haven't have a name for it yet, but maybe I can incorporate storm and cloud to maybe make something new. Just can't get my finger on it, but this might be what I need. This training, this journey, give me the answers I seek, and then I can finally defeat Hiei.
I think we're all going to grow over the next few days.
So where do the vagaries come from?
Oh, well, I guess you should know what you all are up to, I guess, what you're putting your lives on the line. And he turns around and stops filling with his backpack, gets in cross-leg style, putting his hand on his knees and looks at all of you. Well, legend has it that vagaries were placed upon us by the goddess Nyx. We don't know exactly why it only affects tieflings, only that something that they were doing long ago went awry. But in any case, tieflings were blessed with an internal power, and we were able to control the elements: lightning, fire, water, and stone, and air. And discovering that unlocking this power, it needs a fluid motion, a movement of inner power to showcase your tenacity and your strength. And we found that in the form of dance, indeed how it is unlocked. So studying different movements and moves and flowing with our element, we were able to unlock new powers. The stone vagary, for instance, and it's activated with love, from what I've heard. Its movements are gentle, and as it protects. The flame vagary, it's passion. It's not about using precise movements, but putting your all into it, mind, body, and soul. And the mist vagary, it's all about flowing from one position to the next, and a dance of never-ending thrusts and movements. And then you have storm vagary. It's all about being precise, exact, shooting to the next position quickly and precisely. And then finally, the strongest vagary of them all, the cloud vagary. This one uses all forms of the previous vagaries, meshed into one, with quick movements, full of passion, but sturdy and exact. And then by using this inner power, we uproot our souls. And this is what creates the vagary.
Do you feel like a special connection with Nyx?
All tieflings do. She's the patron goddess of all tieflings. I mean, everyone can worship their individual god or goddess, but just tieflings in general, we have a special place in Nyx's heart.
But do all tieflings have vagaries?
No, they have the potential of unlocking it, but usually it comes up around from a young age. If you don't have it before your teenage years, they usually have to be forced out with training, such as climbing this mountain, though this is a little extreme.
I misspoke. Do you feel an additional or a deeper connection to Nyx when you have, I don't want to say mastered, but understand your vagary better?
He looks at you with a little puzzled look and turns his head sideways. His eyes shoot up. I don't know. I've never thought about it.
Do you not pray to Nyx or talk to her?
I pray every day. Whether she talks back, well, that remains to be seen. Although I know she's there, I have not been really one to connect with the divine.
King enjoys a special relationship with his god.
Really? Who do you serve?
Myliki, praise be her name.
Oh, one of the old gods.
Yes, she's the queen of the forests and protector of the lands.
Praise be Maliki.
Praise be Myliki. I also must admit, ever since coming to this land, the darkness has had a odd but comforting effect on me as well.
You feel the blanket of Nyx?
I think I do.
Maybe that's why you can unlock your vagary. Maybe that's why you all can. I mean, Callum and Monako aside, it's impossible. Unheard of. Non-tieflings?
I can't believe it either.
But I do not know how deep my connections are with the gods.
They're as deep as you need them to be.
And maybe it's the gods that chose you.
Maybe. He gets up and dusts himself off and goes to lean on the shiny side of the mountain. He pulls out of his pocket a little, like a fiddle, and just begins strumming it to a pleasant tune and humming something.
Is it a recognizable tune?
You've heard him play this before, Minako. You don't recognize it, and through your conversations you've had with him, and if you ever brought up what that song was, he's said it's always been in his head since he was a kid, and it relaxes him when he's nervous.
While this is happening, Horatio would just during the long rest, he would have his
Short rest.
During the short rest, I'm sorry. He would have his notebook out and he's just working on his personal spells.
All right. So we begin going through your book and trying to work out some spells for the better part of the hour.
I need to repair some pistols.
Yes, you do.
Or at least one pistol. Revolver.
How's everyone feeling?
I'm quite alright.
That shadow creature didn't lay a hand on me.
Graceful.
The shadow creature I fought was a pale imitation of Zilgus. Zilgus, as I remembered him, would have definitely been able to have been a worthy challenge. But how are you, King? Are you okay?
Physically, I am just scratched, although it did do some damage to me. You know I am resilient. Mentally, I am steeling myself and trying to become stronger each and every moment.
King Scarlet always believed in you, and believes in you now. He says, very quickly catching himself. And she had a good reason to believe in you, King. Your faith that you gave her, it will keep her safe.
Wise words. Thank you, cousin. That means a lot. I know. She will do good. We all will do good.
Yes, and I know it will do good because that same faith has been what you've used to protect us.
At some point during the rest, Minako will bring the food around to everyone, spending some time shoring up everyone's resolve and making sure everyone is fed and happy.
All right, so you go around and gather the items that Kai had taken out and prepared into a very light sandwich meal, handing it to everyone. Kai stops playing and looks at you. Thank you, Minako, and goes ahead and takes a bite.
She smiles and waits to see his response after he takes a bite.
He smiles at you, closing his eyes and nodding, and then continues to eat it.
No meat for King, of course.
Some meat is okay. I'm not completely against it. Horse meat, I have to say, is not quite a delicacy in my family, though. It's, how we should say, exotic meat.
Life must have been much easier for you on the surface, King.
My family were mainly farmers and ranchers, so we had a plethora of grain-fed beasts and plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables.
For us, it was a bit more scarce, getting what small resources remained, fighting over small, thinning herds of beasts, and fighting and taking from bandits. Horse meat every once in a while was a treat.
It doesn't sound like you had it easy. I admit I probably lived a little more comfortably than that, but we didn't have everything, but thankfully food was one of the things we were not worried about.
At least you guys didn't have horrible monsters everywhere, right? Right?
Your definition of monster really depends.
Duran looks down at his feet. Sometimes the monsters were each other.
The land you comes from sounds tough.
I nod in both of these statements.
All right. So is there anything you all wish to do before ending your short rest?
I used one of my hit dice to heal up a little bit.
All right.
Can I roll to fix my revolver?
Oh, yes, go right ahead. Roll that tinker check. All right, so an 8 on the intelligence check. What is your repair number?
Oh, no. It's a 9.
Mm.
Stays broken.
Can I interject? Cal, what are you doing over there? Fuddling with your guns again?
Yeah. It's just this pin on the barrel. It keeps getting bent, and it's jamming everything up. I'm trying to fix it right now, but I'm not having the best time.
Oh, well. Next time, let me know. I know I'm not the best at tinkering in tools, but sometimes nature has a way of making things better or inspiring.
Horatio would look at the gun and be like, is it alright if I take a look at it? I mean, I don't know much, but maybe I can help in any way.
Sure, yeah. Anything will be better than nothing at this point.
So DM, I take a look at the gun. Do I see any way to help?
Roll me an intelligence check. So at 22, you look at it and you start to understand how it's made. You see how the revolver's connected and you see how the pins are placed in there. Though you're not really proficient with the tools, you can probably help him next time he tries to fix it. Though you'll have to stay a little bit longer here then if you want to try again.
I can probably help you fix it next time you try to work on it.
Yeah, unfortunately, next time that I try to fix it, it's just going to cost me more. This was going to, be a quick thing, but it looks like it's going to be a little bit costly to repair.
I'm pretty sure you can fix it without having to break the bank. We'll figure something out.
I appreciate it.
Okay, you'll probably have to. So for now, this gun is irreparable, and then you'll have to go to a shop and pick up things to try again.
That I will, sadly.
During the downtime, Duran's going to try to approach Horatio with a brand new idea. Well, Wizard Horatio, are you busy at the moment with your notes?
Oh, I'm just thinking up of a nice little protection spell I've been working on. What's up? What's on your mind?
I noticed earlier while we were fighting those shadow imitations, there was a moment when I was able to leap and you fired off one of your spells.
Yes, right at the end there.
I was able at the last moment to see you performing some gestures in preparation for the spell. I was wondering, I do not think I can learn your magic spells, but I might be able to learn when they're about to come, if I know what your hand signals look like.
Okay, I can see where this is going, yeah.
Wizard Horatio, I think maybe we can try some new tactics if you're able to teach me your hand signals and I can know what spells are coming and I can strategically lay down a scenario for you to overtake an enemy. For example, I've noticed that enemies who are unable to move, who are incapacitated or uncoordinated or unable to dodge your fireball attack. Perhaps if I were to strike them down at their knees first and then move out of the way just in time, perhaps we could find a way to strike down many of our enemies at the same time more efficiently.
I see what you're saying. So maybe you knock them on the ground, and that way they cannot move out of the way if I put a fireball right on top of them. Huh? Absolutely, we can work on this. Before we bed for the night, we can maybe put in an hour.
Fantastic, Wizard Horatio. I knew if I came to you with an idea, you would be able to turn it into an answer.
I love answering questions, my friend.
All right. So, Horatio, you go back to mulling over your notes as Duran finishes up his game plan for your future encounters. Is there anyone else who wants to do anything during this short rest? All right, so you can use up your hit dice to gain HP. I've now applied the short rest. And Horatio, I need you to roll for me an intelligence check with your proficiency modifier added.
Proficiency is +4, okay.
25. All right, mark down that you have 1 success. So, an hour passes after you all are well fed and gain that inspiring energy from Monaco's meal. Looking up, you see the path continues well on, and Kai looks to you. Well, are we ready to go?
Absolutely. I feel completely reinvigorated, and I'm going to look towards Minako and give her like a head nod. We can do this, everyone. Let's go. And I'll hold Chastafol up like a flag.
Let's carry on.
So you all begin to walk, following behind Kai as he's trekking up the mountainside. The wind is blowing but light, though the temperature is quite cold. You find yourself shivering the higher and higher you go up. Another hour passes, and the wind starts to pick up again. You start trekking through that for another hour. The landscape has grown difficult. The rocks, or the obsidian rocks, are piled up all around. It's almost impassable terrain, and it slows down your movement. And you see Kai jump up and start to step on the tops of each of these rocks to get over. He turns around and says, anyone need help?
I can also offer assistance. And I will get on Chastifold and like sort of fly up and like offer a hand to help people, so that way no one slips.
Duran's going to jump up the rock trail, same as Kai just did. If possible, DM.
Roll me an acrobatics check. 15. All right. You attempt to make the same movements as Kai, and you do feel small puffs of air come out of your feet. Your balance is a little off, and you look like you're about to fall, but you're able to catch yourself bouncing off of each pillar until you end up on the ground next to Kai. He looks over to you and goes, impressive.
It was not as easy as it looked.
Minako will graciously accept King's help.
Horatio is gonna go, all right, well, let's see. And he's gonna try to jump as well, like Duran did.
Roll me an acrobatics check. Okay. You also begin to jump across to them, and you don't feel any sense of air puff or any type of outside force helping you, but you do manage to keep your balance nonetheless, hopping from each one. It's difficult, and it's not as easy as when Duran and Kai did it, but you hop across, and Kai looks over to you. And kind of laughs. Well, I can definitely tell that your vagary is not Cloud, but good movement nonetheless.
Duran's going to kind of help sit Horatio up and pat him on the back. Impressive work, wizard.
Yeah, trying to learn your moves too, Duran.
We'll make a warrior out of you yet.
Should we continue?
King Minako, you easily fly across together. You kind of go over it on Chastafo, landing on the other side.
Thank you, King.
Of course. Might as well take advantage of easy wins, as we know there are greater challenges ahead, right?
I wish I could move like those two did. Do you see them? Oh, and you too, Horatio.
That was quite impressive, Horatio.
Yeah, typical runner here.
Long distance mages, yeah, they're quite common.
And then Horatio puts his hands on his knees and just bent down, just gasping for air.
Cow, what are you doing to get across?
I'm going to take a few steps back, give myself a little bit of a runway, and then try to just run and activate my vagary. Try to capture what I was feeling before, during that battle, and the urgency to help my friends. And I know that they need me now to continue on with them, and that's going to help me get there.
All right. Roll for me a performance check. All right. 13. So, Cal, everyone kind of jumps over and goes their own way. You stay behind, and they all look towards waiting for you. You begin to perform some basic movements, similar to the movements that you were practicing the night before on the balcony at the Great Temple of Nyx. In doing part of that, you start to feel this energy swirl from the top of your head down to the sole of your feet, and trying to keep that image in your mind of when you were fighting that dwarf-like creature before, and the energy you felt. You run and jump through the rock terrain, the rocky, sharp terrain, and you all see Cal there, and then gone, and then in just a blue streak bouncing from one side of the rocks to another side of the rocks, and making a zigzag formation before landing in front of you. I need all of you who are within that, all of you, to make strength saving throws.
Is he now within range of us to give us that +4 bonus, or no?
No, it wouldn't count.
No!
Oh, no.
Oh, not that bad.
Yeah, you're all fine. Well.
Well.
Okay, so Duran, a 21, Minako, a 19, on a natural 20, King, a 16, and Horatio, a 12. So, as you see the streak of electricity bounce back, ping, 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 as the thunder that comes from Cal hits all of you, and you all fall. Well, everyone but Horatio, you manage to keep yourself steady and not fall over, but you're blown back slightly. Horatio, you feel the shockwave and you'll fall prone into the ground. You don't take any damage, but you do fall prone.
Oh!
What was that? Cal, how did you do that?
It appears I've tapped into my vagary, and I think it has to do with storms.
Kai looks on over to you. You're a storm dancer, all right. And you have the ability to move with the lightning. I thought only a few of us could do that. I'm very impressed with you, Cal.
Oh, thank you, Kai. It's an honor.
Horatio's still laying on the ground, looking out and just like breathing.
Here, let me help you up, Horatio.
He extends his hand out.
Pull you up.
All right. So, Kai walks on over to Cal and says, What were those strange movements you were doing before? I've never seen a dance style quite like that.
Oh, well, I hold up one of my revolvers. I'm not sure if it's exactly connected like this, but these numbers appeared on my revolvers. And I got the idea of maybe it's some kind of organized, aggressive war dance. I'm thinking, as a paladin of Kalemvar, I took an oath of conquest to protect the natural order of life and death in this world. I mean, you see it. You see it all the time, Kai. These demons run rampant, and they just make a mockery of the gift of life that we all have. This is an aggressive dance, saying that this is where I draw the line.
Well, it was quite impressive, very precise, from one movement to the next, all that force, but never crossing a line. It's beautiful, and I'm sure it's aiding you in unlocking your vagary. You mind if I borrow a couple of those moves?
No, borrow them, of course. I'm honored.
Maybe when we rest tonight, we can share each other our dances and incorporate them. Maybe unlock something new. It might be what I need to create my new dance.
Please, I would love your training.
Awesome. All right, well, we all made it. Let's continue.
Yes.
And Kai continues to walk. And you start walking for another half an hour. At this point, the wind is starting to howl up again, similar to what it was when you first entered Kuro Mountain. It's chilly, so chilly, and the air is so thin. It's getting hard to breathe for all of you. As you truck your way up and the snow blowing across the mountainside, I need you all to roll me Constitution saving throws.
Now we are next to Cal, though, correct?
Yes, so you all get the bonus.
Correct.
So Duran, you rolled a 20, Horatio a 17, King a 22, Monaco 14, and Cal 17.
Now, that doesn't include my +4 bonus.
Okay, so 24. Did everyone else include their +4 from Cal's aura?
Yeah.
I did.
I did as well.
All right. So as you begin walking up the mountain, the pathway becomes steeper and the air becomes thinner and it's getting even colder. Kai yells back to you, everyone all right? Are you okay? Everyone who rolled a 15 and higher, you, although feel the pain and the stinging in your lungs and your skin is almost numb, you are able to trek on. Monaco, you're starting to falter. Your feet are trembling, and to the point where you can't walk anymore. Falling to your knees, you go prone, and everyone notices this.
Hold on!
Monaco, and Horatio goes to help her.
She's very shaky on her feet when you help her.
Duran is going to run back to where Monaco is, and he's going to put away his magnetic blade and pull out Firethorn and ignite it with the activation word.
I'm also going to hold my hands on the outsides of her coat and quickly chant in Sylvan a prayer of warmth and use prestidigitation to warm up the non-living fabric material for 1 hour to give her some additional warmth.
Okay. Monaco, you feel warmer as Firethorn and King's spell are come in contact with you. It's still extremely hard to breathe. You can barely catch your breath.
I don't know if I can go on.
DM, what time is it? How long have we been traveling since that short rest?
About 4 hours.
And what time of day is it?
You can assume, because you can't tell the way it looks from here, but if you're keeping track of time, it was afternoon, so it's getting to be early evening.
Having that knowledge and context, I'll say, maybe we should bed down here for the evening. See if we can find a suitable place in the area.
I can cast a spell. Hold on, let me. And she goes to start casting a ritual spell, but is unable to make the movements properly, or she's too cold.
Horatio stops her and is like, I'll be on dome duties tonight. You just rest. All right. What do you think, Kai? Should we bed?
Kai looks up. I mean, he's squinting as he's trying to look at all of you. The wind is howling, and you can barely hear each other over the elements. And he looks back. Yeah. Minako looks hurt. We have to rest. Can someone carry? Well, no. He goes back and he goes, "I'll carry her. We'll have to look for a cave or something. We can't be out here. It'll be the death of us." And he pushes back.
I can probably carry her for a little bit. I'll hover closer to the ground so that way we're not blown away. But I'll take the burden.
No, don't worry. I got this. And he pushes past you and forcibly picks up Minako.
Thank you, Kai.
And he starts walking. This time he's much behind everyone else with the added weight. He isn't that strong pushing forward, but he looks to you guys and says, "Go ahead. We'll be right here. Just to keep a lookout for something we can use for shelter." And you guys continue walking. Make for me, everyone, a group perception check. Minako, you're at disadvantage. All right, so we have King with an 11, Minako with a 10, Cal with a natural 20 to make 24, 4 for Horatio, and Duran, 7. So, Cal, you have a sharp eye looking out, but all in all, you are unable to find any type of clearing that you can use. Everything is either sealed shut or impassable, and you start to continue walking for another hour. I'll need everyone to once again make Constitution saving throws, but Minako, you're at disadvantage for this. Get your +4 from Cal. All right, so Minako, you have a 17. At disadvantage, that's pretty good. 10 from Cal, 22 from Horatio, 19 from Duran, and 17 from King. As you're walking for another hour, Minako, you're able to steel yourself, and although you can't breathe and it's getting a little chilly, the warmth and the comfort from Kai gives you enough strength to carry on. Cal, your knees start to buckle. It's really hard to breathe. The cold's starting to get to you. Even your internal tiefling heat doesn't seem to be working in Kuro Mountain's atmosphere.
We must stop! And I'm going to hold Chastafald up. I'm going to say, luminosity! And make like a bright light, even though it's, foggy and hard to see, to be like signals everyone to come to me. Like, come here!
You all see this bright light beacon from King. Begin, if you want to, heading over there, gathering up again.
I try to make my way over there.
I see Cal faltering and walk to him, and that's the reason that I held up Chastafald to illuminate everyone to return.
Horatio would take out some components from his pouch, and he would mutter some arcane words, and then suddenly you see the big form of a woolly mammoth pop up, and he walks towards Cal and King and kind of gets down so that you'll climb on top of him.
So you go ahead and use up the spell slot and transform. Starting from your feet, it becomes thicker and hairier into a deep brown. Your face grows large ears in a trunk, and then before you see, after a puff of smoke dissipates, Horatio no longer there, but a large elephant-like creature with long tusks stomping his way up towards you all.
Like, have we seen this form of him before?
Yeah, you've seen him do this twice before, I think.
When he gets close, I'll help Cal onto him, and I'll say, we must regroup with the rest of them and bed down for the evening. We cannot press on any further.
I agree. I can't really go much further on my own. Thank you, Horatio. And I pat the woolly mammoth.
Kind of just I don't know what the fuck woolly mammoths do.
Just like elephants.
Yeah.
But whatever sound, I don't actually know the name of a sound an elephant makes, but he makes elephant sounds. And
Like the
trumpeting.
Trumpeting.
Isn't that the
Is that what we want to call it? Trumpeting. He trumpets I'm gonna Google this.
Trumpets triumphantly.
And what are you trying to do? Get them to get on your back?
Yeah, just carry them over.
All right. So he kind of gets down on his knee and beckons you to jump on his back. Cal, though, the lack of air is too much, and you're unable to actually pull yourself up. You'll need assistance from someone.
King, help me up.
I will, and I aid him to get on the back of the woolly mammoth, and I hold Chassifold in my other hand, still pulsing the luminosity light waves to try and signal everyone to regroup now on near this woolly mammoth.
How is Kai reacting? He's just carrying still?
Kai's carrying you, gets up eventually to Horatio in the woolly mammoth form and keeps going and says, all right, those who are unable to move, hop on Horatio here. And he kind of looks a little shocked after seeing him transform. And maybe we can find something quick. It's not getting any better. The wind howling and the hail beating down on all of you.
Thank you. Maybe we can find more ahead.
Horatio, to speed the process up, uses his trunk to start picking up people and putting them on his back.
That's fine. Who's getting on Horatio?
I am on Horatio.
Duran will kind of tend to the back and try to be behind Woolly Mammoth Horatio and let him kind of like what's the term they call? Is it drifting? Not drifting. When you're behind someone and you're
They're not moving that fast where you can use drafting.
Yeah, drafting's the term I'm looking for.
Horatio doesn't let it happen. He grabs you and goes to put you on top of him as well.
Being carried, Minako can only see Kai, or at least only has eyes for him, and doesn't appear to make moves towards moving herself onto the mammoth.
Horatio grabs both of them.
Both Kai and...
Yeah, I guess I figured I can carry everybody. I'm huge, so...
You're a huge creature. You can. So Kai will try to jump back. Roll a contested grapple check. So it would be a strength, or it'll be a strength check from you, and it will be an acrobatics at disadvantage because he's carrying someone. So 19 versus, let's see, nat 20 on the first one, but he's at disadvantage. Nat 20 twice in a row.
Nice.
So you go to try to pick up Kai. Kai jumps back. And you hit nothing but air. He goes, I'm fine, Mr. Horatio, don't worry. I have this. I can do this. And he begins trucking forward, going past you with Minako.
Man, Sona has intimacy issues.
And he moves forward. Now he's going past everybody, keeping its eye out for something in the distance.
And poof, poof, behind him.
I'm making sure that the people on the mammoth are not going to fall off, the weak ones. And I'm still holding Chassifold up to let Kai know how far back we are, so that way he doesn't get too far ahead.
All right. So I need everyone to roll me another perception check. This will be individual based. So we have King, who has a 15, Duran 21, Cal 14, Horatio 7, and 13 from Minako. Oh, actually, roll at disadvantage because you are currently hurt. Okay, and a 12 from Minako. Duran, you look off in the distance on top of Horatio Mammoth, and you do see what seems to be a clearing about maybe another 10-minute walk at the pace you're going that you could possibly find shelter. Kai doesn't seem to take notice of this, just still walking, one hand kind of cradling Minako as he's carrying her, and the other hand up, blocking the wind blowing into his face.
Hold! Wait! I see a clearing over here. 10 minutes this rate. If we stay on this path, we should be safe. Is Kai close enough to hear me, or...?
Kai turns around and says, alright, lead the way! And he backs up and lets Horatio get ahead, and you can guide Horatio to where it is. So about another 10 minutes pass, and I need both Minako and Cal to roll me Constitution saving throws again at disadvantage. Dirty 20 for Minako, and a 17 for Cal. Okay, you managed to hold on. It felt like you were going to drift out of consciousness from the lack of air and the fact that your body just not holding up to this environment. But finally, holding on with one last bit of will, you start to feel the wind die down. Looking up, you see that Horatio has entered into a large little cave that doesn't go back too far, only about maybe 30 to 40 feet until you see the other end, which is just crystal-like mountain. It's tall enough for him to fit in there, and you stomp in with Kai and Monaco close behind, and the wind stops beating on you, though it's still quite chilly. At least you're not being attacked by wind and ice. And the air is a little bit more breathable here. So you do not pass out, the two of you. You have found shelter in time before that happened.
Oh, I can breathe again.
Good job, cousin, in finding this spot.
Thank you, Horatio.
Horatio, after everyone's gotten down, he'll drop the form and dust himself off. No problem, man.
I'm happy that we are safe now, but are we making good time towards the top of this mountain?
Kai turns to you and says, I don't know, but these two here, they can't go on. We'll have to rest here for the night, and it's about 6-ish.
Kai, thank you.
It's alright, Monaco. You rest now, and he puts you down. He goes ahead and into his backpack and takes out wood and things for kindling and starts to put together a little place where he can make a fire. What do the rest of you do?
I will prestidigitate out some of the snow and some of the dampness from the surrounding area, so that way we can start setting up some bedding and pulling out supplies to set up our little campsite.
All right.
Horatio will take out his bedding stuff and all of that, and then tell Duran if he wants to link up and maybe start practicing some of these somatic components for him to know what spell is coming when.
Yes, this is a good time for that, Wizard Horatio. However, the first thing I'd like to do is scout this cave a little deeper. I would hate for us to stumble on a second Enceladus.
Don't go alone. In fact, I'll come with you.
I could just make him invisible.
Only for a minute, though, right? It might take him longer to scout out the cave.
Well, the one where you cannot take any action, just look, move quietly. He can do for an hour. Would that be enough time?
Horatio! Monaco kind of calls from... She's kind of curled up near Kai.
Yes, Monaco?
Drop it!
Oh, yeah. And he turns Duran invisible, casts his invisibility, and then he goes to where Monaco is at and passes puts his bedding stuff there and casts the dome.
All right, so he takes the 10 minutes to go ahead and cast that, during which Kai has started a fire. You see he has tinder and flint box and lights it easily. Kind of using his hands, you see puffs of air come out and feed the flame as it sparks up. He goes, all right, got the fire started. Come everybody, let's get warm. So, and Duran, are you...
Okay, so here's a quick question I've always had about invisibility and this stuff. So I got Firethorn, right? And it emits heat and light from it. So does invisibility apply to Firethorn and the flames coming from it? Or they're just invisible flames, light, coming from nowhere?
You would just see floating flames.
Yes, and that is what you all see there.
All right, so Firethorn is lit, and all you see is just floating flames around. Nothing, just floating in the air as if they were like dancing lights.
Oh, thank you, Wizard Horatio.
I'll say, be careful, cousin, as you scout the caves, and even though we cannot see you, your flames still glow and flicker, so you are aware.
I've got this, Duran says with a nod that none of you can see.
All right, so Duran, you walk back into the end of the cave. It's not much. It takes you about 10 seconds to get to the back of it, although you move quietly. Turning to your left, turning to your right. Roll me a perception check. Natural 20, 25.
Sometimes his hair gets in his way when he's looking, but this time it didn't.
Because it's invisible and you can see through it. And looking around, looks like an ordinary cave. It ends. There's no holes, no other exits. You do see you do see the reflection of the light the flames that you summon off of the pristine, slick obsidian walls. But other than that, nothing.
Duran lets out a sigh of relief, concerned there would be some other horror at the back of this cave. He would be afraid to have to lose someone again. He returns back to the team and reports the good news.
After a few minutes, Duran comes back. You just see floating flames once again. You hear Duran speaking to you.
Everyone, I have good news. There is not a cave with another Enceladus.
Why would you even say his name? Thank you for checking it out, but just say that next time.
Yes, that is a name I also would not like to hear again, but I was just...
Glad to see you're safe, though. Well, almost. Glad to hear you're safe since...
Duran chuckles and he puts out Firethorn.
Now I really truly have no idea where you are. You're a terror in the night, unseen.
Horatio drops invisibility.
At this point, Duran is seen like doing this goofy kind of pose because he's invisible and no one should be able to see him.
Oh my!
I was just performing a stretch.
Stretch. Okay.
Is that how you form your vagary?
Duran chuckles a bit. I do not know how my vagary is formed, but it seems to come when I am most fleet. There's not much space for movement like that in this cave, though. He says, looking at the top of the cave. Actually, how high is the cave ceiling?
The cave ceiling is pretty high. It was high enough to house a woolly mammoth. So we'll see. It's about 20 feet tall.
Maybe there is enough space to practice in here. And Wizard Horatio, for us to practice you showing me the hand signs and coordinating our attacks.
Absolutely, but I don't think we need to move. And plus, I can't step out of the dome.
Kai looks up to you after starting to fire and placing down Minako, making sure she's okay. He first whispers, "Minako, are you all right?"
I'll make it. Thank you. When you carried me, all I could see was your face looking up. I knew I was okay.
I'll do anything for you, Minako. Your safety is one of my top concerns. My father's too. He switches the subject very quickly. We all care for you. No matter what Hiei says or done, you'll always be part of this family.
She coughs and smiles.
Everybody, well, since we have some downtime, I thought that maybe, since you're practicing your vagaries in this, I can at least go over some simple movements that can help. And then, me looking at Cal and Duran, maybe I can show you two something? Since we share something in common, I feel.
Yeah. There's more air in this cave and I'm starting to feel a little bit better. Let's make use of this time and I feel horrible. I'm part of the reason we couldn't get to the top today.
He takes another look at you. Yeah, you don't look so good. Maybe you should just watch. Set this one off and just try to memorize it. I'm afraid if you push yourself too hard, you might not be able to recover in time in the morning.
Kai?
Yeah.
Maybe I should go first then, because I was able to help heal your father. Maybe I can aid our group now, so then that way they can practice with you after being re-energized? I don't know. Is that selfish? I want them to be able to participate. They've come so far.
Well, I don't know exactly how your dance works, and unfortunately Mist is one of the few styles I kind of failed at. But you're welcome to try.
One of the things I wanted to ask you was, you gave an emotional descriptor for stone and said that it's channeled through love. And then you also said that passion was the emotion of fire. But we were caught up in your descriptions, and I don't recall you explaining a similar adjective for the others. Do you know of another way to feel the vagary to help us or me understand it? Even if you don't know the style, I'll take any knowledge you have about it.
He turns to you and says, "Well, flame dancing and stone dancing use emotion, as well as cloud. Lightning dancing uses more of precision of strikes and movement, always keeping," and he begins to go into a movement, and he lifts his leg up, and his arms kind of shooting up to the sky, and it's very precise and on point. And he goes, "Huh!" Lightning dancing, and he moves to another similar position. It's all about precision and being exact with your emotions, while being strong and powerful. Whereas mist dancing, and he goes back down to a normal state, it's more about flowing with your moves, connecting each step, never ending and thinking about the continuation. You start with one style, and he begins to spin a little bit, moving into the next motion, and he flows into the other one. And when he does that, he kind of stumbles a little bit and loses footing, but then gets back on track and stands up straight again. Sorry, I'm not much of a misdancer.
I appreciate your words and wisdom. Even though it is not your expertise, you are still wise. And hopefully I can learn and grow. Maybe now I can pull something from me and tap into my tender side and let the emotions connect and flow through me. And I'll take a step back, and I'm going to put myself like in between Cal and Minako, sort of in the space that we cleared earlier where like the dome is, or maybe we're on the outside of it now, I don't know. And I will actually put down Chastifold and outstretch both of my arms and start to like wave my hands back and forth in like a slow, like undulating wave, and then I'll like sweep my leg and start to like dance and swirl in a flowing circle and just sort of like ballroom dance in like a circle within a circle in between those two people, and try and channel the feeling of flow, growth, and change and rejuvenation, and see if anything starts to flow within me.
Anything you wish to do before you start?
I'll start to make these moves, and I'll say, I hope that Myliki watches over me and graces my movement. And Nyx, I wish to make you proud. Let your blanket flow from me to those I wish to heal. And I will quickly give myself guidance and say, pay attention to your movements and be graceful and flow. And then begin for real after thinking and saying that.
All right, roll me a performance check.
I'm so nervous.
15. You start to dance and put forth some movements, and it takes you about 10 seconds to go through the fluidity of each one, doing a spin, more like a ballet, and how it flows from one movement to the next, and then once you finish the dance, and you all witness an elegant display by King as he moves from one section to the next. It's a little off here and there, but it's beautiful nonetheless. Once you end, you open your eyes and look towards Kai and your allies, and look down at Cal and Minako. Nothing seems to have happened, though.
Except you earned Duran's applause after you finish.
I'll be like breathing a little heavily, and I'll look towards them and see that they're not being healed.
I feel a little better.
or that they're not like being healed or invigorated in the way that I expected. I'll say, sorry, I don't think I've learned anything just yet, but I figured I should try.
You've certainly raised our spirits.
Oh, Posh, this is just...
Kai looks over towards you and starts clapping. That was wonderful. It certainly looked like misdancing. You might just be missing something. I think that by the end of this journey, that'll be if we all survive. And he kind of shakes up after saying that. I'm sure we'll be able to unlock your vagary and see what it's really capable of.
Okay, sorry guys. To potentially heal you enough to participate, so keep a keen eye, and then I'll like step back and sit down and like open the floor to Kai to do his instructions for the rest.
For about an hour, Kai goes ahead and explains the essence of vagary. He says, so the point of the vagary is to use your movement to unlock it. Once you fully move and complete the steps, you use that energy that starts to boil inside and bring it to form. Many say that the vagary comes to your mind. It's like you always had it once you've learned it. It's part of you. It's an evolution. And then he continues and goes through more movements, showing you the elegant, fluid style and fleeting style of the cloud style while jumping into storm style. He also shows you the stone dances that he knows, though he goes on explaining that he doesn't know them that as well as the flame dances, just to give you a brief example of what they look like. I've studied all the styles and hope to see if I can unlock more than just 2 vagaries. My father thought that I can master them all, but only cloud and lightning. They are the 2 most connected, so there's no surprise there, actually. Although I'm just thankful that I was even able to unlock 1.
Minako is curled up on the ground, sort of near the fire he made. And when he's done dancing, she leans up and claps.
Rest, Minako, please. And he smiles while he says this.
So I see how you use your moves to really start to unlock the storm, Vagary.
You pour it all into your movement.
That's the key. Everything's in the movements. Well, Duran, do you mind? I'm curious. I want to show you some things. From one cloud vagary to another.
All right, I'm interested. Show me what you've got.
And he walks up towards you and says, well, we'll need some space. He leaves the dome and pulls you to go with him. Everyone, just go ahead and practice on your own, and then get some rest. I want to wake up bright and early. Hopefully you two will feel better.
Yeah, I feel like some rest will get me where I need to be tomorrow.
And Minako just rolls over and passes out.
In the dome, as Minako's passing out, Horatio is writing down all the notes about what Kai just said and kind of practicing some movements for his vagary.
All right. Roll me a wisdom check.
Oh no.
Wise wizard Horatio.
That's my lowest stat. Actually, that's not true. My strength is my lowest.
18. Not bad. You start to study and write down what he said and try to incorporate that with your normal hand movements and twirls of the staff that you have, the staff of Al-Salar, and think that you're catching on to something. So, while everyone else prepares and rests, Kai and Duran, you all walk about 40 feet to the back. The cave sort of turns a little bit, so you're a little bit out of view, though if anyone looks hard enough, they'll be able to see you. And I'll need everyone to jump into the void, except for Duran. All right? So Duran, you walk to the back of the cave that you inspected before, knowing that it's large enough space and there's no enemies or nothing afoot. As you get to the back, you continue walking, but Kai stops. And you turn around looking at him again. I'm very impressed that you were able to unlock the cloud vagary. And not yet alone any vagary, but the cloud nonetheless. And it's really impressive. I saw you before when you jumped over the rock pillars. You can skywalk, can't you?
I have had a few moments where I've been able to walk on some surface I've been unable to see. I think it is like walking on air. Is this the skywalk you talk of?
Yeah. After using motions, and he begins to go off and start to dance, using one motion after the other, until finishing it, you see the winds blow around his feet, and he begins to hover slightly. And then he steps up the air until he's about 5 foot away from the ceiling, and then continues moving and starts to run down the air, landing next to you. Yes, this is called skywalking. Only the strongest of cloud dancers have this ability. My father had it, Yaz has it, I have it, and EA has it. And so do you, it seems.
I do not quite have your mastery of it, Kai.
Practice these movements with me. And he once again shows you step 1 through. It's an 8-step process he goes through, and you look on and see. And once he completes the dance, the dance that shifts from one movement to a completely different movement in the other one to another completely different movement. But you do see a connection between all of them. At least you're trying to. And then when he completes it by placing his hands together in a cross, and then moving moving it upwards so that his right arm is between his elbow and his forearm, he lifts it, raises it up, and then begins to put his arms back and begin to run up the air. Give it a try. And think about, the air is not something that's intangible. It's hard, like ground. There's no difference. You just have to warp it and stretch it so that it can aid you. That's the essence of your vagary, Duran. You can warp air, wind to your advantage. Give it a try. And if you wish to try, you can roll me a performance check and then and then one more check depending on your results. Do it at advantage because you're being taught.
Cool. Duran's going to kind of focus his energies on trying to nail this. And Kai, I've seen these movements, and it seems to me that my biggest difficulty is going to be trusting the movement and giving into trust in the power. I do not have the same relation the others do with their gods, and I do not have the same trust when I close my eyes that I feel King does.
Then trust yourself. Trust that the goddess Nyx chose you. It isn't by chance that you have this vagary. It's destiny. I know it.
Duran's going to concentrate and take a deep breath. He's going to believe, and he's going to try to pull through with emotions. And I'm going to roll that performance check at advantage.
All right. Dirty 20. All right. So Duran, you go into the dance movements, stepping to the side, crossing your arms and your legs, stretching where it's need to be, and then shifting into the next form, like wind blowing in the air, completing all 8 steps. And once you do, wind begins to blow beneath your feet. And closing your eyes, you take a step and another step, and opening them up, you see yourself hovering above, because Kai has already stepped back down, hovering above Kai. Well, not hovering, because your feet aren't dangling. You're actually stepping on the air itself. And Kai claps. Wonderful. Wonderful. Roll me a wisdom check at advantage now. 7. All right. You feel it. You feel the energy, but the vagary itself still is leaving. You just can't let go of your trust. You can't just trust into nothing, something that you can't see. So that fear is blocking you. Whereas you understand how to activate it. Seems like you'll have to keep practicing these moves to get it to be innate.
I'm sorry, Kai. Just from where I come from, trust is hard to give, even to people.
You begin to falter a little bit and start to fall down. And to catch yourself, you run down until eventually the skywalk ends and you're back. You don't feel the winds underneath you anymore. That's fine. Yeah, practice. And who knows what else trials we have up. I may just unlock it for you. But that was really impressive. Can't believe you were able to get the dance on your first try. You're quite the warrior.
I've had a lot of practice. I've first danced with your fire dancers when we first appeared in a fight between us and a demon. And then ever since I've come here, we've had plenty of other chances, other moments when I guess Nyx, he says, scratching his head a bit, has guided our dance movements. He says a little questioningly.
I'm sure she was there. I'm not the most devout tiefling, but I do believe in the goddesses. So if you unlocked your vagary I'm sure it was at the right time when you needed it the most. He then sighs and looks down and looks back up to you. Duran, can I talk to you for a second? About something not about the vagaries.
I'll help you with whatever I can, Kai.
I feel a kindred spirit in you. I didn't want to say this in front of Monako. Things are bad. Bad with that Enceladus cave you guys found. We have the demon dancers. We have a way to make sure that to at least confirm the life force of each demon dancer. And though it's burning brightly for Genju, Hitomi, and Yuri, we have not heard from them for days. Other demon dancers have gone in looking, but have been blocked by trials or traps. We've lost a couple men, and it pains me that we had to send them in there. No knowledge. My father is waiting, he was waiting, trusting in the fact that their life force still burned brightly, but I don't know. I don't want to just send more demon dancers to their death, but so worried about them. And then this whole thing with Hiei, this couldn't have come at the worst time. It's like, I don't know what to do. I'm not fit to lead, and he turns around looking down.
Duran puts his hand on Kai's shoulder. These kind of difficult thoughts often come to those who must lead. I too felt my resolve challenged when I came to this mountain. The mountain showed me scenes of someone so very close to me that to hurt him would hurt hurting myself. But in one moment, I made a statement and an action of determination to show where my heart lay and what I believed in and how much I had to move forward. I'd lost track of that over this journey, but being forced to see the decision I made reaffirmed that I had still in my heart knew what was right and had conviction to move forward. Kai, I have not known you for long, but I have known very few men of great caliber, of great willpower and spirit, and you are one of them. I believe you fit to lead, but you must believe it as well.
Roll a persuasion check at advantage. 11. He looks over to you. I hope you're right. All right, we should get back. We should rest. We have a big day ahead of us, and I would like to start early.
Kai, might I ask you a question as well?
Sure. He turns around back to you.
The ones who attacked Kaijin, the ones who attacked your father,
Yeah?
they were able to overpower the daimyo with the use of these shards. You knew how powerful he was. Do we stand a chance?
He looks at you, and his face looks grim. Look, Duran, what these interlopers, outsiders, whatever, your warband, I don't know who they are exactly, but they stole something really precious from us and seem to have used it against my father. This shard, as you're calling it, I've rarely seen it, but my father told me it's what imbues our weapons with the power to defeat the demons. And he takes out his sword, and as it does, you hear zoom, and it glows a faint white light. We use that shard to bless the demon dancer blades. It enables us to not only defeat them, but capture their soul and use it to further power our vagary. That's why we're called demon dancers.
So does that mean that the vagaries and the demon dancers, that fighting these demons only makes you stronger?
He looks to you. Yes, I think it'd be the design from Nyx. Legend has it that she teamed up with another goddess, one of the Prolefsi, and developed some type of way to stop the forces of darkness that were bleeding into Dusthaven. We realized over the years by defeating the demons, part of their power combines in us and purifies, and that we can use it to power our vagaries even further.
Without that energy now, how much danger will Shivrin be in if we cannot restore it?
He looks down and doesn't even see your eyes at this point. I don't know. We're heavily weakened without it. I'm trying not to cause a stir. I don't want anyone to know. The only ones who knows are Yaz, myself, and Ren. We need to keep it that way. If everyone knows that the power source of the demon dancers has been stolen by evil, be an uproar. And I mean everybody. All of Shivrin knows that our powers are blessed with an ancient artifact of Nyx. You assume are you calling us shard? Which leads me to believe, didn't you say you had a friend who took a shard? Are they one and the same?
Yes, our comrade Silm. He had one of the shards with him before he left.
I don't know much about this. I need to look through our books. I'm not the bookish type, so I don't really know much about lore, but one thing at a time. One thing at a time, Duran. Let's get back.
We will overcome Kai. I will see to it with my own blade and my own actions. That is one thing you can trust in.
Thank you. And he continues walking off towards the group. Let's get everyone back from the void. Welcome back.
Dang, I just think it's crazy that Duran has 3 vagaries now.
Whatever. We saw them not once being dropped, boy, and you still rolling low.
Yeah, we saw those natural ones just dropping by the wayside.
Oh yeah, those dice were not kind.
So you guys heard a little bit of a commotion happening over there. You definitely felt a breeze coming, not from the outside, but from the inside, before it died off. And curious, you tried to peek over, and as you look, you see Duran and Kai walking back. You kind of shake back and act like you're doing something else. They can't see you because you're inside the dome, and it's not transparent in that direction. But Kai walks back in. So, should we get some rest?
Is there anything I can show you with what I was doing, Kai?
Are you up for it? And you do still feel very bad. But you can certainly, if you want to perform something, you can. It will probably be a disadvantage, though.
I get up to make an attempt, and as soon as I take a step, I just kind of like fall over. Maybe first thing tomorrow morning before we head out, while we have shelter from the wind and the elements. It like you were saying, it is technical, so maybe it's for the best if I just get some rest now.
All right. Sleep well, friend. If anyone needs me, I'm just gonna do some stretches and call it a night. Kai heads over to like a corner of the dome and begins doing some stretches and a little bit of a dance to kind of loosen his bones and his muscles, and then begins to make a little bed for himself.
Duran, you said there were no enemies in the back of the cave, correct?
Yes, there were none enemies there. I checked myself.
Okay, I will take my leave and return shortly. I just wish to offer a nighttime prayer before bed, and then I'm going to get up to leave the dome and head towards the back of the cave.
Durant is going to kind of follow King to where he's praying, just to kind of guard him and watch over him, but he also doesn't want to kind of disrupt his prayer by being noticed, so he's going to kind of stealth and watch over King as he prays.
All right, roll me a stealth check. 25. Oh yeah, you are unnoticed as you sneak out following King.
Once I get back there, I'll have Chasufold luminosity and sort of it pulse a light glow, so that way I'm not walking in darkness. And as I'm walking, I'm going to start saying, I'm used to praying in place. Trees and the earth and nature are fluid and move, but also trees, they stand firm and tall. But different times are upon us, and I must learn to adapt. And I must be like a river and have the blanket of Nyx flow within me and grow. So please take no offense, Mother Myliki. I pray to you in the form of dance. And I'm gonna like practice fluid motions in the back of the cave for like 15, 20 minutes. And normally I would like sit and put a candle and like be very like thoughtful and exact. And now I'm trying to totally switch that style up and, be fluid in my mind, and also quickly move on from one topic to the next in my mind as well, and think of my friends, and then think of Silmith and hope that he's doing okay, and then think of Galeem, and then think of, the Frost Mountain that we're on. And I'm just like trying to adapt to the situation at hand. And I felt embarrassed in front of everyone, so I want to practice a little bit more by myself. So I do that for like 15, maybe a half an hour, and then after that, I'll make my way back towards the dome, then bed down for the evening.
All right, so King, you prepare you do your dance and stretch out the movements. They're not very comfortable for you because you said you're more rooted like a tree, where this form needs you to be flowing like water in a river, and you try to move that, and you're starting to get the concept. And after practicing for 15 minutes, you are satisfied with your progress and head back. Duran, you witness all this, seeing the curvature and the spins of King. He stumbled a few times, but all in all was a beautiful performance that you saw. And then hiding behind another rock as he walked back, you stealthily follow behind, and then if you want to, you can make your way back to the dome.
Dren will make his way back to the dome, and he's gonna close his eyes and trance out for the night. But as he does, he's going to kind of ponder the nature of his dual magnetic blade and meditate on its nature as he drifts off into his trance.
As the wind blows hard from the outside, it does not enter mostly into this cave, nor through your tiny hut, which is protecting you from the elements. You drift off with the thought of your journey continuing the next day, and you all have a peaceful night and a long rest. And with that, we will take a short break and meet back up with the second half of your journey. Hey there, Dungeon Delvers. Thank you for listening. I would like to take this time to thank all of the wonderful people who helped bring Descent into the Void, a tale of D20s to life. Starting with Frank Freire, who designed our character art, Kyle Misko, who collaborated on the main, mystical, and night theme songs, Manuel Lapuca, who collaborated on our battle and adventuring theme song, Jan Rosa for the use of their original soundtracks, David Chappell for the use of his End of Silence, A World of Color soundtrack, MFY for the use of their Dragon Castle Symphony for Duran's theme song, and Danny.Phantom.01 for creating the Liberators' full art. You can find more about these wonderful artists on our website, ataleofd20s.com. Now click on to part 2, and let's continue our epic tale.